everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Presley Mania. My name is Rhonda, and today we are going to be talking some more about Lisa Marie's upcoming memoir. People magazine has just put out an article. They interviewed Riley, who gave us some little juicy tidbits of things that are going to be in the book. We find out some other information, like who's going to be narrating it, all for the audio part. So we're about to learn some things, and as we get closer to the release date of, I believe it's October 8th, we are starting to get little tidbits of things that are going to be in the book. I don't want to spoil anything for y'all, but there are some things that are just too sweet to not talk about and put out there, and I don't think it'll spoil too much because we're all excited to read this book. So I'm going to start off a little bit reading to you some of the things that Riley said in the People interview. So let's get started on this. When Riley Keough was asked by her mother, Lisa Marie Presley, to help write the story of her life for an upcoming memoir titled From Here to the Great Unknown, neither of them could have anticipated the tragedy that would strike just 1 month later. In an interview with People ramping up to the release of the book on October 8th, Keough speaks of the sudden death of her mom on January 12, 2023, due to a bowel obstruction. According to a report from the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, and how it was important to pick the task back up after her immediate grief had subsided, as to fulfill her mom's dying wish of making her better known to the world and seem more relatable in a way that had evaded her in her lifetime. In an excerpt from the book shared by People, Keough reveals in the intro that when it came time to listen to the stack of tapes containing hours of interviews with her mom for use in finishing the memoir, she was afraid to hear the voice. I can only imagine. The tapes are an incredible portrait of the force of nature that she was, Keough says in her interview with the magazine. Depending on the day and her mood, she can sound locked in or distracted, vulnerable and open, or annoyed and closed off, hopeful, angry, everything. You hear her in all her complications. Further along in the excerpt, Keough writes in her intro that the early part of the book is in her own mom's voice, and that she's frank about her relationship with Michael Jackson and her struggles with drug abuse. She holds nothing back. I hope that in an extraordinary circumstance, people relate to a very human experience of love, heartbreak, loss, addiction, and family, Keough says to People. My mom wanted to write a book in the hopes that someone could read her story and relate to her, to know that they're not alone in the world. Her hope with this book was just human connection. So that's mine. Wow. Doesn't that speak volumes to what Lisa Marie wanted? You know, there's so much talk, and we've touched on this many times before, on will this be truthful? Will it not be truthful? Have things been changed? Is it going to be just parts of Lisa Marie's story, or is it going to be all of it? I tend to believe that it's going to be all of it, just based on what Riley has said here. You know, talking about depending on what day it was, you know, she could be open and vulnerable. How she was in the face of loss of her son, her relationship with Michael Jackson, and how it says she holds nothing back. I think we're going to get a glimpse into Lisa Marie that we haven't ever seen before. Yes, she was a very private person. We all know that. But she was a force to be reckoned with. She was fierce in her love for her children. I think she was fierce in lots of things she did. How she stood up for the things that she believed in, her family. And I think we're also going to get a glimpse, maybe a big glimpse, into how much she loved her daddy. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that because there is an excerpt from the book that talks about that exact thing. Okay, so I'm going to skim over a lot of this and tell you just a little snippet of what's going to be in the book. And this is Lisa Marie's words talking about her daddy. Going to his shows was my favorite thing in the world. I was so proud of him. He would take me by the hand and bring me out on stage, then get walked to wherever his place was on the stage, and I would be taken from him and brought to wherever I was going to be sitting in the audience, usually with Elvis's father, Vernon. It's odd she doesn't call him grandfather to me, but anyway, it says the electricity of those shows, there's nothing I've felt that's been even close to that feeling ever. Let me read that again. The electricity of those shows, there's nothing I've felt that's been even close to that feeling ever. Electrifying is such a generic word, but it really is what it felt like. I loved watching him perform. I had certain songs that I liked, Hurt and How Great Thou Art. I would ask him to sing those songs for me, and he would always say yes. I did not, however, like having the limelight shown on me or being asked to stand up in front of everybody. In Vegas, during his residency, he introduced Vernon, then looked toward me, and I remember thinking, oh God, please don't. And he was saying, Lisa, stand up. It's not that I wasn't proud or that I didn't love him. I just liked the limelight on him, loved it on him. It was not something that came to me inherently. I absolutely abhorred it, but in other less public ways, I loved basking in his fame with him. And then y'all just wait till you hear the next one. Okay, so this is a story about when Elvis came for a parent-teacher conference. Get ready for this. In Los Angeles, I went to school at John Thomas Dye up in the hills of Bel Air. I still sometimes drive by it just to remember the day my dad came to a parent-teacher conference. I knew he was coming, and I couldn't wait. I could feel the teachers' nervousness and excitement too. My little student friends were so excited that I even got more excited. Everybody was just running around, crazy. Then my dad showed up. He got out of the car and he had on a respectable outfit. Black pants and some kind of blouse, but he was also wearing a big, majestic belt with buckles and jewels and chains, as well as sunglasses. He was smoking a cigar. I met him at the car and I walked up the walkway with him, and I just remember that feeling of walking next to him, holding his hand. Sounds like a little girl who truly, truly loved and admired her daddy, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. And and she said the same thing about going to the shows with him, how they would hold hands, how she was holding his hand. Said then he would take me by the hand and bring me out on stage. He gets to the school, and what happens? She takes his hand and they walk hand in hand into the school. Can you imagine being that teacher that got to talk to Elvis, a parent-teacher conference? I mean, oh my gosh, I can't even begin. You'd just be sitting there. Okay, well, can you imagine? Here you are, the teacher. Oh, little Lisa is doing very well in reading and all of her studies, and then just staring at him and, oh, sir, excuse me, can I have your autograph? They probably weren't allowed to say any of that, but how I would love, if she is still alive, to find Lisa's teacher that had this parent-teacher conference with him. What a story that would be. Or maybe some of the kids that she went to school with and their reaction to Elvis Presley walking in the school. And I'm sure that a lot of these kids were children of actors and actresses, famous people. But doesn't it make you realize just how different and special Elvis was? And let's say that it was a school that was filled with children of famous actors and actresses, but yet they were excited because Elvis was coming to the school. That shows you, it really does, just how larger than life that man was, and what a presence he had. Can you imagine him walking into that school with a belt and chains and sunglasses and smoking a cigar? Oh my word. This is just fabulous, and I cannot wait to get the rest of the book. I can't wait to get it so we can see what's going to be, what all she's going to say. I think it's going to be poignant. Excuse me. I feel like she is going to, we're going to get to see a side of Lisa Marie, see inside her life how it felt to be the daughter of Elvis Presley. That's something that only she could explain. So I can't wait to read it. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is that there is going to be an audiobook of Lisa Marie's posthumous memoir. And we now know who's going to be narrating that book. And it's going to be Julia Roberts. It says, this is from the Hollywood Reporter, and it says that Julia Roberts will narrate the audiobook of Lisa Marie Presley's posthumous memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown. It was announced Wednesday, so that's today. The actress will narrate alongside Presley's daughter, Riley Keough, who helped complete the book following Presley's death. The audiobook will also feature never before, I cannot speak today, can I? Never before heard selections from the personal tapes Presley recorded as she prepared to write the book. So that means we're going to get to hear some things in Lisa's own voice, is what it sounds like to me. In a statement, Roberts said, "I was so moved by Lisa Marie's incredible memoir. It was a real privilege to give voice to her wild and beautiful life, and I deeply appreciate Riley entrusting me with her mother's story. I'm so thrilled to have Julia to be a part of this and read the voice of my mother. I couldn't think of anyone more perfect to help share her story with the world," Keough added. So, I guess we shall wait and see what else comes out in the next few weeks. October 8th, October 12th, I will be in Memphis for the book tour to see Riley Keough in person and to hear some stories and hear what she has to share. And I will definitely keep you all in the loop and let you know what I thought about the book tour. And there, I've seen in different places that people said, oh, is Rhonda doing a live show during the book tour? No, I'm not. I'm going to go, I'm going to be an observer, and then I will come back and tell all of you what I thought, what it was like, and then, of course, I'm going to start reading that book, and we will definitely be talking about that. Speaking of books, I was going to do a completely different show today on a different topic and another book. I am currently reading this, Elvis and the Colonel by Greg McDonald. And I am only to chapter 7. But it is very interesting. It is a completely different take on the usual story you hear about Tom Parker. And so I'm going to be doing some shows about that here in the near future. Of course, all of that, all of my research about this book and what I'm trying to dig into and find, because like with anything you do, any story you hear, there is always truth and there is always fiction or mistruth. Let's say it that way. There is always things that may not be what they have heard, may not be exactly right. And so I just want to encourage everybody that when you read a book like this, and I'm not talking about Lisa Marie's book because that's separate. That is a memoir that was based off of her tapes. And yes, Riley has finished it, and we'll see how all that shakes out. But what I'm saying is just always remember that you look at it, and if you have a question about something they said or it triggers something in your mind and you think, well, that's not exactly what I heard before, you can always go back and dig and see if you can find out what the difference is and figure out if what they wrote, not that they intentionally said something on purpose to contradict a truth or anything like that. It just may be based off a story that they were told. And I believe that's what happened with Greg McDonald too. You can just go back and verify it. And that's, I'm going to read this. I want to come back and tell you all my thoughts on it, what I thought about it. I have found some things that I have questioned, in all honesty, and I did some digging on it. It's not going to be to blast Greg McDonald or anything, not at all, because I think his story is based off his own life experience with Colonel Tom Parker. He knew him very well. He presents a side of him that we have never seen before, or that you don't see often. Let's say it that way, because I think that is probably more accurate. So anyway, but y'all, that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and just remember, you only get one shot at this life. So live each day to the fullest, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So until next week, bye everyone.
Thank you.